All right, there we go. There we go. Forgot to turn my mic back on. Appreciate that. Appreciate the. All right, so let's run through that one more time. All right, on the economic calendar today, we have crude oil inventories at 10:30, as usual. Nothing else. Tomorrow we have retail sales, initial jobless claims, and the Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index. And then Friday we have building permits. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the power range report. And that's weird that it came up like that. Oh, I know why. I clicked on the wrong link. Get it together. All right, go ahead and close that back down. All right, for the NQ Future Sessions power range today, we got a high of 13,980.25 with a low of 13,968. At the time of this posting, we were trading sort of bullish, up 0.32% with a volume of 56K and an ATR of 232.49. We're gonna have a look at that on trading view. All right, so you can see overnight we were just hanging out sideways. Then we had a pop around like after 4 a.m. Eastern time. Traded up to +4, and now we're retracing that entire bullish run from the break of that consolidation or that accumulation phase. Let me see. Let me look at the daily just to make sure that I know what the daily looks like. Alright, so we're definitely still in all-time high territories, or from yesterday. Yesterday we broke into new highs, and we're just kind of just hanging around up here. Haven't made any real move yet. I'm not expecting any huge moves in the next anytime soon. I'm expecting us to continue just grind it out for a while. It'll be nice to have some pullback, get a little bit of retracement, and just reset everything so we can get that nice trending or just nice energy back into the market. Things have just been kind of chugging along here over the last few days. All right, let's go ahead and check out the rest of the market. ES, somewhat the same thing. Of course, we're not going to expect the same type of movement with ES compared to NQ, but it is similar. We did trade around the range overnight, and we had a slight pop higher. Then we created a range there, and now we're retracing that and back to the power range low near the session low. Still in the all-time high area with ES as well. Let's go ahead and look at the crude. So it pretty much accumulated there until around 1:30. Started to make a bullish move, and it's continuing, its pattern, slightly bullish. So the bulls are definitely with crude today, but we do have the inventory report today, so I wouldn't be too eager to jump in. If I was trading this, I wouldn't be too eager to jump in on anything until that report is released. Still on the daily, we're just hanging around within this range, kind of hitting our head at the top of the range. Go ahead and look at GC. Some strong sell-off. The first thing I noticed, of course, that's going to stick out like a sore thumb. We were trading bearish of the power range all night. It's accumulating. Now we're taking it lower, looking for lower prices. On the daily, we're still, let me see where we're at right here. Well, on the daily, we're kind of trying to break, so we have a double bottom here. just just to call out the patterns. Whatever. I'm not gonna go too deep into that, but we're also trading back into some resistance from this pivot here. We have two pivots at this location there, so technically it makes sense. Just the price action that we've seen in the last few days. So it looks like it's going to be range bound for a while until we can break one of these key levels here. I'll mark those off. Yeah, that's fine. All right, and then last but not least, the euro currencies. Just from a quick glance, this looks like we're accumulating. We're trading in this range between the power range high and +5. Not a whole lot of excitement over there, but a lot of opportunities if you depending on what your strategy is. Pretty much on the daily, we're looking at the same sort of situation for the euro as with the gold or with GC. We'll mark these levels off here. It looks like we're trying to reverse back into a bullish trend. We'll just be watching that to see how that plays out. And I'm gonna real quick just look at RTY, see what's going on there. It's a lot of accumulation, no real follow through. And with the YM, everyone's favorite, the Dow. That's what the mainstream media and everyone likes to, when they want to get excitement in either direction about the market, and they reference the Dow just because of the way that we look at the points there. Pretty much same thing, a lot of accumulation. Nothing very exciting in this market, but depending on how you look at it, depending on your perspective. But it's a lot of accumulation, a lot of back and forth, no serious movement. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and run back through my checklist, make sure I got everything taken care of with the journal. get this a pre-market snapshot. Remind myself to always see the big picture. And for me, the big picture is 30 minutes or and above. It's like we're continuing to break down, leading into the bell. Where did my Delta board go? Got some sell-off coming in out the gate. That selling momentum is strong, but it's not really accompanied by much is that the way I want to say that? There's not a lot of negative delta to support it. I'm just looking at the volume now. Some interesting divergence. Trading into -1 or -1. way things are looking, I'm not gonna rush in and take any orders as of yet. I'm just gonna watch and see what happens and see how price responds to structure and volume, as well as my levels. Use my levels as a way to narrow in my focus. So now we got a lot of negative delta that just popped in right there. So I don't have a setup yet. I just gotta wait. So recently we've had this trend to where the recent trend has been to where we'll have this sell off at the open before we bounce higher and just chop around throughout the rest of the session. So that's what I'm wondering, if we're going to continue with that trend today, or those that move the market just collecting their inventory down here just so they can have another run up and do their thing. Now I like to collect inventory and take the price higher, sell it off while bringing interest into the markets. I sell it off for those who they market to, if that makes sense. On the bigger time frame, we did trade down into some support here. So this is where we're finding buyers. So we had this pivot from yesterday. So we traded down into that. Now we see some buyers that are sitting right, at that level. Which just so happens to be near my power range -1. Interesting coincidence. Wait, let me see. It's actually closer to -2, so almost perfectly we bounced off that level. Making another attempt. So I'm just gonna watch it for now. I'm gonna hold this thought that I just had. Let's see what we do. Get a little hindsight capital. So this white line right here is a key level based off my balance zones. Balance zone. Alright, so what it looks like we're doing, I'm gonna do my best to explain this from the perspective of a market maker. Alright, so over, just looking at this 30-minute here. So in this phase right here, we were just accumulating inventory. And basically, inventory is just, all the participants in the market that are not market makers, are even wholesale. So just, us, we're the inventory, right? So when we place our orders, they're going to collect these orders with the goal of moving price higher, introducing more buyers, more interest into the market. So once they got enough inventory down here, they'll bring excitement into the market to get the price to go higher. And as prices moving higher, they'll start selling off this inventory until that buying slows down. So right now they've brought it back down to another area to where they're trying to collect some more inventory. So how long that that happens, how long they have to do that, of course, that's the main question that everybody wants to know. If I knew the answer to that question, I would be a millionaire by tomorrow. So we're in another phase of where they're collecting inventory. Now what they can do from here is they can just keep things in this range for a while until they're ready to take price back higher, or they could take price lower and then look for another area of inventory before they finally decide to take price back higher to make their money. Basically, this is the end goal for everybody, of course, is to make money. So as savage as it may be, it's really just the business of the market. Get everybody excited. We're in all-time highs. You see a nice little bullish pattern in the pre-market. If you're looking at the ETF version of this, the Qs, then you see price gapping up. So especially if you're inexperienced, you get excited about that and you get ready to start buying, and then they just drop the price on you. It just stops, gets you in a position that you're not comfortable in, so that they can take care of their business. Our goal as retail traders is to be aware of possibilities, to be aware of how we respond to those possibilities, and then design our strategies and how we react to all of that, around all of that. So I don't have any setups for my strategy as of yet, just because of the way that all of this played out. I do see some levels to where I could take a short, but I'm not interested in that because of current trend. And I don't have any long setups. hard time.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order canceled.
Just wanted to see how much risk that was. Place the order there just to see what that would look like. The level that I was looking at for the possible short, but I'm not. I'm still not that interested in a short today. So it's been I haven't taken a trade in a few days. Actually, no, I haven't taken a trade since that losing day. Just because I haven't really had any good setups. And then when I got a decent setup, you know, just the price action in relation to what my order was didn't work out. Alright, trading back into the point of control, seeing a little bit of fight there. While I wait for something to set up, I had this idea that for the Discord that I wanted to try out. Want to see how my laptop handles all these different things going on at one time. Well, since I don't have anything that I'm interested in taking right now. All right, so we're seeing some sellers come in here at for the VPOC as well as PR50. Nothing too serious as of yet. Oh, that video. That's why. Definitely looks like we want to continue taking price higher. They use that as a way to collect more inventory. One of the hardest things with multi-charts
Order
is
submitted.
to place trades on the chart. Or put your orders in using via the chart trading. Just accumulating. Alright, so that idea I had is not going to really work out, so I'm glad I tested that. What I may start doing though on non-streaming days is I got an idea for something that I may start doing with the Discord channel. During the week, other than with the exception of Monday and Wednesday. Alright, so brought it back down to that support that we played off of earlier. So we're definitely accumulating right now. You can see got some buy-in coming back in. With how all this has been trading out over the last few days, it's just been hard for me to catch something per my strategy. Like I've needed to make some adjustments. Good morning, Toad. The simple answer is the strategy. The main strategy that I use is pretty much entering in on pullback. So a lot of people call that buy the dip, and then I'm just looking to play levels, based off the power range levels and play support, and then the volume that creates that support. It's a simple way to explain it. I have certain ways to get in with all of that. Sometimes, as I've explained on other streams, I take breakouts, but I haven't been interested in doing that lately. So mostly I just wait for a pullback for my entries, and I get aggressive with those pullbacks. With the goal of looking for the best price. Is Delta efficient on NQ? But that's really a matter of perspective. Depends on how you read it and how, however you like, it's not gonna tell you anything that like to buy now or whatever, or sell now. It's just, depends on how you look at it. I look at it mainly as like the breadth of the market, and as a way to kind of help me decide how aggressive I want to be. So the reason I'm asking it like this, because I can maybe see it as being efficient, or but there's someone else that can see it as completely inefficient. It's just a matter of perspective. I don't like to give too many biased answers because it's going to be based off of how I see it. But the way that I see it can be completely different than the way that you see it. And neither one of us are wrong. It just, depends on us responding to how we see the markets. Alright, so yep, we're definitely accumulating. We're taking prices back higher. Let's see if we hold the top of this range that they created, or if we break higher. Definitely, since the bigger trend is to the long side in favor of the bulls, what the market makers are doing, well, what those that move the markets are doing, they're just collecting inventory so that they can take it back to the market and sell it off at higher prices. It's like anything else. Like if you, let's say you're into retail arbitrage and the tech side of it, so you like to go out and find cell phone accessories for low prices, and then you take it and you try to sell it back on eBay for a higher price so you can collect the profit. That's basically the way that the kind of price action that we're seeing right now. Kind of hovering around our key level as well, which is in line with PR negative or minus 1. Why keep saying negative for that? PR minus 1. So the way that I'm reading the delta right now, we do have a lot of negative delta on the board, but prices are not really going lower, so I wouldn't be too eager to take any shorts. If a short setup did come, I wouldn't be adverse to taking it. I would just I would play it with a tight stop. I wouldn't put a lot of risk on the table, and I'd be looking to get in and out quickly, since the price action is not really matching what I'm seeing on the delta board. Instead of it cluing us in on a specific direction, it's just kind of giving more power to this battle zone that we're in, from my perspective, of course. Alright, trading back into the high of that range. I would expect a break here, but how high can the break go is the question. Alright, and there's the selling that's coming back in. So in hindsight, if I wanted to be super aggressive, once we got this, I'm gonna go back to the right screen. Once we got this turnaround here, you're not gonna be able to see that anyway. Once that pivot was created, I could have had a long sitting down here. Of course, this is hindsight capital. I could have had a long sitting down here at where we found support from this opening sell-off, and then I could have, had my target right there where we turned, at the top of this where we had to pivot. Or if I didn't take that, if I was just wanting to stick to the short, I could have took a short there, which I would be in right now if I did that, and trading it back down to the support. Just a little live hindsight capital, but none of that matches my strategy, so that's why I didn't even, neither one of those were set up for me without me trading outside of the way that I normally trade. Yeah, I definitely try to stay away from FOMO. Alright, so we got some momentum coming in now. We can expect it to continue through that support. The delta board is cheering it on. So we accumulated up here. Now we're looking for lower prices. We can squeeze just a little bit more out of the market. With the goal of taking it back higher, just as and make our money selling it off at the top, or selling it off at higher prices. So that move right there it trapped a lot of short sellers, traders who wanted to trade short, who wanted to short the break. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to trade higher, or the price is going to do anything, because the price, it could trade higher from here, or it could just come back in, within this range a little bit, and eventually do break down lower, stopping some people out. collecting, trapping some more shorts or whatever. But the main goal, of course, of those that move the market is to collect as much inventory as they can. I'm going to start normalizing that word inventory because it makes the most sense. It's a term that I'm not used to, the term that most traders are not used to, because I've never heard that until I started listening to this former market maker. And I've been studying the markets for a while, even before I was an active day trader. I've always kind of, been interested in the market. I just I didn't have a way that I liked participating in the market on a consistent basis. But the reason I even say all that is because I've read a lot of books, I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and bought courses, and for several years I did that, but I've never heard the word inventory until I started listening, until I ran into this former market maker, and they do that by design. Where is your day one volume profile, which gives good support and resistance? Where's your day? Not really. Not sure what your of your question there, what you're asking. The only volume profile is the current day, the current session's volume profile. That's the only volume profile that I use. So the one that we see on the screen, I don't pay attention to for me, it doesn't really add, or it doesn't do anything for me to pay attention to a previous day volume profile. In terms of previous day support and resistance, the main thing I use is what I'm calling my key levels, which are these white lines here, and that's just based off of balance zones. Of course, previous volume profile is extremely important. It gives the low price today for now, and I agree with you from your perspective, and you're absolutely right. But for me personally, it's not something that I ignore. It's something that I looked at. I study everything, and it's just you can't watch everything. You can't look at everything in the market. So the things that I look at are the things that I found the most value in. making another move lower to get some more, get just a little bit more inventory. Coming to the end of my trading window. I ain't even get anything to collect data, any data collection. Oh, okay. Well, what am I on that? That's not
Order canceled.
Cancel that. Market wants to see the low yesterday volume. Throughout this entire session, we just kept, well, throughout my trade window, I'm gonna say, we just kept the price in this range, in this accumulation phase. And completely outside of my strategy. So at this point, at some point, I would expect us to break out of this range eventually. The probability is to the long side, but we all know that the market can do whatever it wants to do. But the way that they have set the stage so far, it would be fair to expect prices to eventually trade higher outside of this accumulation phase or this range. We're officially at the end of my trade window. Just watching the battle, popcorn eyes in it. Another dip back into that support. We just, getting as much inventory as we can get. Someone had the idea, believe it or not, to take another short there. So let's go ahead and get that short into the market so we can just get more inventory to sell higher. But it could pop lower. It still could pop lower. So we'll just. I have seen this this pattern play out for a continuation lower before. So that's not completely out of the question. We don't want to take any possibility completely out of the question. Just observe and maintain the awareness of our frequency as applied to the markets, of what we're saying from the markets. Off the design of this setup, we should continue lower. It doesn't mean that we have to. From this price action is trying to break back down into those lows. The way that they currently set the stage. Watching this low from this previous 3-minute bar here, which is the 1003 candle. So we got buyers there, or buying happening at that level. So before, how I mentioned it with hindsight capital, how I could have, and the reason why I didn't say anything about it is because when I mentioned how we created this range and I could have traded the edges of this range, at this point I would have been completely done with that. I don't want to keep trying to, because eventually we know that it has to break. This is why I mentioned that. So we did trade back down to that low and found some buying sitting there. I'm just not going to speculate on that any further. I'm just going to watch it from there. But I wouldn't have continued to have played that range if this was, a setup for me based off of, how I'm viewing the market. Fed tomorrow, and Q is a bit afraid with Fed tomorrow. Take a look at ES. What is ES doing? ES pretty much did the inverse of what NQ is doing. It did it from the bullish perspective. It found some buying out the gate. Traded up into this range here. And the band is hanging around. The band is hanging around within this range so far since. Put a time frame moment on it, 9:51. If I was trading ES, I did actually have some. This was a more ES traded more so in favor of what I look at for setups. But I haven't officially put ES back on the playlist yet. I gotta get myself back. I have to get myself used to trading in multiple things, in multiple platforms, until I figure out a way to do copy trading between platforms. So with all that being said, I appreciate all the comments and everybody coming through and hanging out with me and trading with me. Hope y'all have a good rest of your day, a good rest of your week. And I will see y'all on the next one. Trade it easy.